This meeting's being recorded and will be available to you after the event. So I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. All right. Again, thank you so much for coming to this Solar 101 info session about Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg. As we're getting started, I'll let you know that the coalition partners that have formed Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg are the City of Charlotte, Office of Sustainability, as well as Mecklenburg County Sustainability Department, the Town of Davidson Sustainability Department, as well as Centralina Regional Council. So these are the coalition members that form the decision-making body of Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg. And I'm pleased to see Megan Upchurch in the crowd from Centralina Regional Council. Thanks for coming. Nice to see you all. So I've shared the coalition partners for the program. In terms of who can participate in Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg, it's a program that's available to all municipalities within Mecklenburg County, including the City of Charlotte, the Town of Cornelius, the Town of Davidson, the Town of Huntersville, the Town of Matthews, the Town of Mint Hill, and the Town of Pineville. So this evening, we're going to talk about what the program is. We're going to hear from Renew Energy Solutions, the selected solar installer for the program, and we will have a Q&A at the end. So please feel free to put questions in the chat, and we will cover them at the end. What is Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg? It is a community-based clean energy group purchase program that's available to residential, commercial, and nonprofit entities in Mecklenburg County. And when the coalition partners came together, for which you saw the logos a minute ago, one of the first things that we did together was form an RFP group to develop a request for proposals. And we used that RFP to guide a competitive interview process. And through that competitive interview process, the coalition selected Renew Energy Solutions as the vetted, community-selected local solar installer. And we couldn't be happier to be working with Renew, a Charlotte-based company that does so much for our community. And we're just looking forward to hearing from Chris Berg in a moment or two. So a couple of more things about Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg as we're warming up this evening. One of the great features of a Solarize campaign is straightforward pricing through a tiered pricing structure that we'll cover in just a few slides from now. And we're all about making solar energy and battery storage more accessible and more affordable. So more affordable because this tiered pricing structure is based on a bulk purchase discount. More accessible for a couple of reasons. One, throughout the campaign, we'll be offering educational programming like this event, as well as opportunities to learn about financing options. Once the installations start, and houses and businesses around Mecklenburg County will host an open house where you all can actually go out and meet a homeowner, look at a solar and battery installation, kick the tires, talk to the homeowner. We'll also host a commercial lunch and learn focused on businesses and nonprofits interested in going solar through Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg. So in this way, this Solarize program makes going solar more accessible because we do so much of the research for you. Some of the challenges with making the commitment to go solar have to do with just the amount of time it takes to decide which companies to talk to, go through the process. Oftentimes, people want to make sure all their questions are answered. And the Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg program does all of this ahead of time to take the guesswork out of going solar. As mentioned, Renew Energy Solutions is the selected solar installer for Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg, and we'll hear from Chris Berg very soon. And Solar Crowdsource is the company that I work for. We coordinate and provide technical assistance for the program. So why go solar? Well, there are many reasons. To name a few: lower electricity bills when you're accessing your power from the sun, especially if you've got battery storage. You're not going to be paying very much to the utility company. Also, going solar provides a more consistent cost of electricity. You're not going to be exposed to the high fluctuation in utility rates over the years in the same way that you are when you're 100% tied to the grid. And reduce carbon emissions, the air quality is better. That's a great reason to go solar. We'll talk about some financial incentives that make now a great time to go solar as well through Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg. So the way that a Solarize program works, and the company that I work for, Solar Crowdsource, has managed around 26 Solarize campaigns around the US. At this tiered pricing model represents how homeowners pay for. This is a residential cash pricing structure in which the beginning of the campaign, where we are now, everyone pays the same price per watt. That's $2.80 per watt. And as we progress through the campaign, more people contract to go solar with Renew through Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg. The price per watt goes down for everyone. So we enter different tiers of pricing based on how many watts or kilowatts are achieved in an aggregate or total way. So for residential pricing, residential cash pricing, the price goes down. The more people that sign up, and this is a structure that's designed to motivate people to go solar now, get off the fence, make a decision, and do it together as a community. Because then at the end of the campaign, those that signed up earlier when the price was higher per watt will receive a rebate check at the end of the campaign from Renew Energy Solutions. So everyone pays the same lower price. We fully intend to reach tier 8 pricing. And I believe there have only been a couple of campaigns that we've run that didn't actually, almost all the campaigns we've done have reached tier 8. So we're on our way. The commercial pricing, oh, sorry, this is a tad bit blurry, but just to give you an overview, the commercial pricing structure is a little different. It is based on the size of the system. So a business or nonprofit going solar is going to, that is in a small building and doesn't have as much energy use as a large company, is going to pay a higher price per watt. So smaller systems don't have as much of that bulk purchase discount as larger systems. The price goes down the larger the size of the system. So I'll pause here. And I know, Chris, we're going to hear from you in a little while to talk in depth about Renew and the materials and warranties, but I just wanted to pause and see if you want to add anything here. Of course, we'll cover it in the Q&A as well.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. Good evening, everyone. I would agree. Thank you so much for your time this evening and participation on this call. At its essence, let's just start with, we want to help as many people as possible get the information so that they can make the best decision for their home, for their family, and if solar and battery storage makes sense for them. That's our goal and our mission here at Renew, is to provide education, information, and transparency into what solar can and may not be able to do for your home, and let you make the best decision. We are in the benefit of a very aggressive price structure here with a Solarize campaign. We've been lucky and fortunate to work with Solar Crowdsource and some other campaigns in the Carolinas before, and I can tell you, at least in our most recent one, we definitely maxed out the lowest tier pricing for all. That is our goal. We want to try to spread the word and the awareness so that as many people as possible get the information from how this can affect. So I'll talk a little more about how the process will feel from Renew if you have registered or had a consultation from us or are looking to and getting some more information tonight. But Emily, I'll pass it back over to you first.
Thanks, Chris. All right. So there are a number of financial incentives that make now a great time to go solar. So we're going to talk briefly about them. We can cover them in more depth during the Q&A. But in terms of federal incentives, the residential tax credit of 30% is available now through the end of 2025 for those who have enough tax liability to take advantage of it. And that's for systems that are fully installed and running by the end of 2025. But the clean energy tax credit, the residential tax credit runs out at the end of the year. So there's limited time to claim the credit. And signing your contract, your Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg contract by August 8th will give you the best chance to access the federal tax credit of 30% for residential solar. So that's the federal incentive that we're looking at that has a short, a short time frame, and getting a contract and signing it by August 8th is going to give you the best chance of receiving that tax credit. In addition to that, there are great options from Duke Energy that you may or may not already know about. Duke Energy's Power Pair program is still active, and this is an incentive that applies to new solar and battery storage projects. Power Pair offers up to $9,000 incentive on qualifying on qualifying systems. And Renew will talk, Chris, if you'll talk more about Power Pair, if that comes up in the Q&A, we can dive a little deeper, but just mentioning it here. Another program from Duke Energy that you would want to know about is the Power Manager program. And the Power Manager program provides monthly bill credits for participating homeowners. So you have to have an eligible battery installed to qualify for this program. So Chris, is there anything else you want to add here? Or?
Yeah, well, I'm sure some questions will come up in the Q&A, but let me just maybe hit the tax credit portion first. That's an advantageous reason for a lot of customers, definitely not for all. We provide systems and projects to a lot of customers who don't have any tax credit appetite or availability. But kind of coupling that along with any other incentives like Power Pair right now is really the best of both worlds. The big beautiful law is really pushing the deadlines right here. And Renew stance is we want to kind of under promise and over deliver with what we can make sure our fulfillment looks like. We're getting extremely creative as it relates to how we're going to continue to fulfill for the rest of the year at the quality that we expect. I will just initially start out and say if you haven't had a solar consultation and you are serious about wanting to try to capture something like that and haven't registered to receive a complimentary assessment from Renew, it's our pleasure to get you the information for what it might or might not look like. We are not CPAs by trade, but we do this for a living and we have a really good understanding of what it looks like. Solar is still going to be the best long-term decision when your home qualifies for solar, like I'm going to discuss later. This is really an opportunity, while it's available, to potentially capitalize for certain customers, and we'd be happy to discuss it with you.
All right, thanks so much. A couple more things, and then I'll kick it over to you, Chris, to talk more about Renew. So what are the benefits of going solar through Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg? You've got a vetted solar contractor that coalition partners have already chosen for everyone that participates in the program. Renew was chosen through a rigorous interview process. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of going solar. You've got top quality materials and warranties that Chris is going to talk more about in just a moment. And then the predetermined discount pricing that we looked at that tiered pricing structure that means that you're saving money through this bulk purchase pricing, regardless of whether or not you can stack other financial incentives like Duke Energy's Power Manager program or the residential federal tax credit. And so really we're all about enabling you all to make informed decisions about what's right for you, your business, or your family. And you can decide to go solar through Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg with a community surrounding you of other people who are, in it together. In addition to all these reasons to go solar, we're also in progress working on developing a pathway for low and moderate income households to go solar as well. And this is a program in process. We look forward to updating you as we go. I want to cover a few important dates. We launched on June 25th, and August 8th is the date that contracts are due in order to have the best chance for the 2025 residential tax credit. So we've added this as a new deadline just for those that are interested in taking advantage of the residential tax credit. But the enrollment deadline for everyone is October 31st. That remains the same. Enrollment means that you sign up at solarizecharmec.com and click the button, sign up as either residential, nonprofit, or commercial. And that just means that you're enrolling to receive a free, no obligation solar assessment from Renew Energy Solutions through Solarize Charlotte-Mecklenburg. So there's no obligation to sign a contract, but the contract deadline for homeowners is December 31st, 2025. And then the commercial and nonprofit contracts take a little longer, and that deadline is March 31st, 2026. So one last thing before Chris Berg talks more in depth about Renew Energy Solutions. And that is, just want to put it out there to you all joining this evening that we would love to be able to connect with more community members and invite you to scan the QR code with your phone here and fill out any ideas that you have for events that we could attend and table at or speak at, or if you'd like us to host an event in a community that you know of, we're happy to get out there. It helps the program reach more people and in Mecklenburg County. So you can also access this information at solarizecharmec.com. Happy to connect with community members through your suggestions. So without any further ado, Chris Berg, thanks so much for joining us and talking to us about Renew Energy Solutions. We're so pleased to be working with you on this program.
Yeah, thank you, Emily. I'll hit high notes here. I want to explain a little bit about Renew and understand the company that you're potentially talking with here for an assessment for your home or your business, and then give you a little solar 101. What are some qualifiers? What do we need to look at as it relates to what can make a property have solar propensity? And there's a lot of homes that this doesn't work for. Again, I will start with our job is to educate and provide as much information and transparency into what options could or could not possibly do for your home or your business. We were started in 2010 right here in Charlotte. Our headquarters are just off of Presley Road, right beside Billy Graham, and we currently employ just over 150 people here in the Carolinas. We do have 5 facilities across all of the Carolinas, stretching from the mountains over to the Triangle area of North and South Carolina. And we've always had kind of the same approach. It's a customer-centric mindset. We want to help as many people as we can, again, have that information, and we want to provide them the highest quality and best valued solution in the Carolinas. On the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about like the breakdown of Renew. We have 3 different divisions of our company. There at the top, you have Renew, which is our residential division. On the right, our commercial division that is in-house. And then in the middle, our Sun Service division. The bread and butter of the business is us going and constructing residential projects We are the #1 installer in North and South Carolina for solar and battery storage. That's not me just saying we're the best. We've just physically installed more systems of solar and battery than any other installer in the Carolinas. That was 2024 and 2025 so far, the data that's come through. Our commercial division is one of the top 15 largest commercial solar divisions in the country. We have been producing commercial projects here in the Carolinas for over the last decade. And really, what I would say is a uniqueness here and something that we stand on very strong is our service division. We don't just come and install the system and nice to meet you, hope everything works well. We have dedicated service individuals that support not only the 6,500 plus customers that we've installed over 15 years, but another 16,000 customers that were not installed by Renew, whether that's someone who is no longer around or someone that just can't physically service their system. If something should happen, because let's face it, it's technology, and you're going to see you have some really robust warranties attached to it. They are made to work and made to last, but service is potentially inevitable, and we lean on the fact that we don't have to guess where to send our people, whether it's to a new customer install or to a customer that needs a request. We have dedicated divisions of Renew to help with that. We're agnostic. We do not believe in a one-size-fits-all approach to customers. Every home is unique. The way you live is unique. The way that you use electricity is very unique. And so how we propose and assess solar and backup storage and efficiencies for a home require options. And when we came to the table for options for a Solarize campaign, we really picked two very strong ones that we felt would bring the best overall value. And so we start with a 400-watt panel from Certainty. If you've heard of that name before, it probably makes sense because they've been putting roofs on houses in America for over 100 years. I like to say, who better to talk about something that's going to go on your roof than a roofing company? And they have procured and manufactured a very, very high quality tier 1 product that we love and that we exclusively selected for this campaign as an option. It comes at a very aggressive price point and something that we were able to hedge against prior months' tariffs and everything like that, which is great. We then also selected a Tesla Powerwall 3 battery. Tesla was really the first one to come to the table about a year and a half ago with a single battery unit that has the ability to manage and back up an entire home. Prior in the industry, you were talking about 2 or 3 batteries to try to achieve that type of accomplishment. Tesla was the first one to come to the table. And, outside of all of that, extremely powerful product against one of the biggest brands in the world. So when you talk about support over long-term warranties, you have a 25-year warranty on that panel that goes on the house. That's against the product, that's against the performance, and that's against the labor from a certified installer like Renew for 25 years. And a 10-year warranty from that from Tesla. You're talking about making sure you have the best peace of mind and support that people are going to be around to help take care of you. I will never tell someone that we're all going to be here for forever because anything can happen in life. But we have very, very high quality products at a great price here for you. As we move forward to kind of offerings and what this looks like, on the next slide, we will we'll discuss kind of what the process could feel like here. I start with if you have not received an evaluation or wanted to look into this, please go on to solarizecharlotte.com and register for an assessment. Our inside team will give you a call and schedule a good day and time when we can come out to the house and connect with you. We are flexible. There are things that sometimes that doesn't work, and we need a virtual consultation to get you information quickly. We offer those as well. Typical assessment lasts about an hour, potentially 2, depending on how good the questions are and all the assessment that we go through with you and your family. once we went through the entire evaluation, you'll receive a formal proposal from Renew, and the ability to go ahead and start a project, which is contracting. We go through all the contracting. From that standpoint, we are going to start construction, which means we're scheduling a site survey. During that site survey, one of our dedicated technicians at Renew is going to come out to your home. They're going to fly a drone to get updated measurements of the roof against the initial assessment that we provided. They're going to pull back all of the electric panels and do testing. They're going to check the attic spacing. That drone flight is going to check the roof condition. We're going to get a lot of good analysis to pre-plan your project. Most of the steps here you will see, we don't get to installation till the end. It's all about pre-planning it so that we get it done right the first time. We're going to design this in-house and get a structural letter done. We are going to get electrical CAD work completed. We will also work with the utility company to get your interconnection or your approval with your power company approved. If you have an HOA, we deal with your HOA on your behalf to the extent that they will let you deal with us. If they require you to deal with, to submit the application, we will give you the entire packet so that all you have to do is hit send in the email. This is a turnkey solution that gets you to the day of install. A typical installation takes 1 to 1.5 days, depending on the size and scope of the system, could be a little larger. Most of our systems are completed within 1 to 1.5 days. This is really the point that's helping us march towards the end of the year, because we also make sure that your system works on the day of installation, which is the operation required for that potential tax credit if you're interested in that. After installation is complete, just like any construction project that has a permit, we need to pass inspection with the county, and then the utility is going to give us what's called PTO, or permission to operate. From that point, that's when we get to break the champagne bottle open, turn your system on, and your home gets powered from the sun, and backed up with battery storage as well. So this entire process right now for us feels like 12 to 16 weeks. That's from starting saying yes, we start a contract, to getting you all the way to the end. And so if you do a little bit of math of how many weeks are left here, that's what's got us marching towards a deadline for some of those customers that are really advantageous with that tax credit. For the rest, we'll continue to push your project forward like we normally would. As we go to the next step, like the evaluation is really important, because we're going to look at a couple things. Yeah, you can go forward to the next slide. I'll start with just kind of how solar works. If you haven't had a solar consultation before, it is quite simple. Solar is on the property, most likely on the roof. The sun is going to hit those panels and produce power in the form of direct current. We're going to push all of that power through an inverter and turn it into AC, alternating current, so you have stable, usable energy for the home. It will flow directly into the house and power all of the circuits in the house. Solar doesn't just choose a couple circuits to back up. The entire setup of the house is now being powered by solar. And during the day, you're going to create excess energy as well. So after you've powered the entire house, depending on whether you work at home, you don't work at home, whatever it is, how sunny the day is outside, you're going to produce excess. That excess energy can go in one of two places. It can either go into a battery backup bank if you have battery backup for your home, or it's going to go back through that meter that's on the side of your home right now and back to the utility company. When you're sending power to the utility company, they're going to give you credit that you can use for future usage. The easy way to think about that is, if I can produce some excess energy during the day, when the sun's not up at night and I still need to power the home, I can either utilize my battery, or I can still pull from the grid. And if I've sent them credits during the day, I am using the credits at night that I sent them during the day, which is helping you lower your cost of electricity from your power company. So in short, that's exactly how solar would work on the house. The things that we need to look at to make sure that solar are going to make sense for the property are several things. One, how much electricity do I use? That's going to give us a baseline for potentially how many solar panels you need. We're also going to look at the environment around the home. Is there trees around the house, or any shading. We'll look at the roof condition. How old is the roof? Does that really need to probably be replaced before we look at solar installation? Every face of your roof, if it is going to be angled in different directions and annually, they're going to get a different amount of sun. So we're going to look at the different areas of your roof that could potentially support good solar throughout the entire year. And then we're going to see how much space the roof has. Can we fit them within the roof lines and within the code so that we can produce an overall system assessment and show you what ultimately the savings could look like for the home? So all of this happens as part of the initial call in to renew, and then a lot of it happens at that consultation when you schedule a time and day with us as well. When we get to looking at purchasing solar, there's a lot of different ways to do that and make it budgetary and make it friendly for your specific options. Some people want to pay for this thing outright and purchase it up front. That's obviously an option. We have a lot of different other funding options that allow you to get creative with how you want to pay for solar, not come out of pocket, kind of treat it like a power bill and just pay a monthly price that never changes. Emily mentioned that earlier. You can really budget your electricity when you go solar because you know exactly what it's going to cost to produce this. So we, again, agnostic approach. We have a lot of different options to provide our customers solutions that best fit their goals and their wants and ability to be able to purchase a system for their home. Outside of that, I will go back and say, if you have not registered before, thank you so much for attending tonight. Feel free to scan the QR code, to go to solarize share that with anyone who you think may want information as well. A Solarize campaign is only as good as the community that it's in and those representatives that share it to everyone else. It's our pleasure to come out and give complimentary information to you. And I will stop there, Emily, say thank you for the time, and we'll get to a Q&A.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we've allotted plenty of time for questions. I also want to mention at solarizecharmec.com, not only can you sign up, but you can also access a list of upcoming events, places where we'll be in the community. We'll be at a couple of different places on August 5th for National Night Out. And we're hosting a solar policy webinar with North Carolina Sustainable Energy Association on August 13th. You can register. That information is on the website. We'd love to see you in person and connect with you again. So at this time, we'd love to open it up. Sophie, do we have any questions already in the chat?
Yes, plenty. I've been answering some of them, and there's some that I'd like Chris to answer. But let's see, one of the earlier ones was, does Renew install solar hot water as well as solar and battery?
We do not.
Yeah,
currently.
I didn't think so. Let's see. Do you have any problems with houses that still have some old knot and tube wiring?
Potentially, it's first going to stem back to the electric panel, the main electric service for the house. It would be something that we would review and get information on, but potentially.
Got it. Let's see. Somebody is saying, is it worth it if we're moving in 5 years?
Potentially, yeah. We have a lot of customers who do this on properties that they flip or rental properties that they are holding on for a short period of time. I think it's a good thing for us to know because it changes probably the type of design that we're going to do. We're going to change to maximize a design for short-term savings versus maybe long-term savings on the home. So really going to come down to the ambitions of that, and then the ability to capture potential resale value and things like that with your home.
Great. And a commercial property is potentially interested in Iredell County That's just north of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County. I think that's up to the installer. I'll let Chris answer that.
Yeah, if you can send your information in, send if the yeah you got the information from Solarize, so send it in to solarize.charlotte.org, and our team reviews that along with our committee for any external registrations outside of Mecklenburg.
And are the certainty panels, where are they made?
They are made on the West Coast,
Okay,
out in Oregon.
Oregon. Okay, great. And let's see. Cody is asking about the average battery life cycle and cost of panel maintenance and homeowners insurance approval.
Okay,
Two-part question.
battery life. That's a good question. Battery life cycle first. The warranty on the battery is 10 years. It doesn't mean that the life is 10 years. Um, the warranty is associated with a life of cycling your battery all the way from charged to fully charged to completely depleted every 24 hours. And so if you did that every day, it would last 10 years, more than likely. The likelihood that any customer utilizes their battery that much every single day is unlikely. So a good life of a battery is usually about 20 years. And the warranty associated with it is 10. Second question was maintenance on the panels. Um, there's I guess there could be a follow up there, but there's no preventative maintenance really needed for the panels. The panels are made to work. Yeah, the good Lord gives us nice rainwater that cleans those things off for us. So there's not really anything associated with that. There are certain customers in certain markets that do panel cleanings, especially out west with some of the drier environments and things like that. I do recommend that a panel cleaning once a year from our service division isn't a bad choice, but there's no real continued maintenance needed. It would be completely reactive maintenance if something happened, and that would fall under the 25-year warranties of the system potentially, unless it was like hail damage or something like that. That would fall under the homeowner's insurance policy typically. And then I think the last one was how much does homeowners insurance? Sophie, what was that question again?
Um, it's a little unclear. It's not a complete sentence. Generally pretty easy for homeowners insurance approval. So maybe the question is, will your homeowners
Oh,
insurance
yeah.
approve?
Yeah, it would depend on your policy and your company. I haven't ran into any issues with customers getting solar approved with their homeowners insurance, but it would depend on the customer specifically. It is something we recommend. You do want to inform your insurance company of that would be our recommendation, but that's up to the homeowner.
And then Christy's asking for brand new homes and roofs. Would doing this void the roof's warranty? Doing this, I assume, means installing solar on your roof.
Yeah, it's a good question as well. One that we offer a roof warranty for the penetration where we are going to lock into the truss or the joist of the roof for 5 years directly. So that's really moisture penetration for 5 years. You're going to know well before 5 years if there's actually a leak problem from us doing this because the water soluble solvent that goes under there actually hardens over time and gets stronger. So we offer a 10-year workmanship warranty from Renew directly on all of our work. And then the actual components, not just the panels, but the racking that goes underneath it and the brackets that go on the roof. If, for instance, that bracket cracks, causing an issue, all of that is 25 years and would be covered under the warranties that I was discussing earlier. Typically, we partner with a lot of roofers. We ask Certainty about this specifically as well. The area where the solar panels are going is usually going to fall to where the solar panels are and the warranty associated from the installer. The areas of the roof where the solar panels are not would typically stay to the standard warranty from the roofer. Again, it depends on who did your roof, the company that built the house. A lot of other things can come into play. That's typically what we would hear.
Wonderful. All right, a bunch more questions. Question about hail damage. Yeah, answer about hail damage first, and then we'll keep going.
Yeah, it can happen. Obviously, if you have hail damage from on your panels, you definitely have hail damage on your roof. These things are FEMA rated class 4 for inclement weather. The tempered glass on the top can handle hail damage way more than even a 30-year architectural shingle would on your house. That's not to say that hail couldn't or wouldn't damage these things, because it can happen. If it did, again, you could replace them outright. You could file an insurance claim, whatever is your advantageous. That would not fall under the standard 25-year warranties on the panel. It would fall under the homeowner and how they would want to replace at that point.
All right. And what's the advantage of getting multiple batteries versus just one battery?
It's a couple things. One, you're going to give yourself more backup capacity. So it's kind of the same thing of, I have this cell phone that has a battery in it that can last me so long, but if I take a backup charging port with me as well, I'm going to have extensive backup support for this phone to work. So you're going to have more capacity to back up the home for longer. You're also going to be able to physically fit more circuits on multiple batteries. So the ability to give yourself an advanced managed solution for the entire home, specifically with some of the larger and bigger circuits that you have, 2 batteries could give you more room, more capacity. Depending on the size of system that's on the roof, it may require 2 batteries, just because you can only push so much power through one of them. But those are pretty big systems when you get to that point. We on average, this is kind of a weird number, but we sell about 1.3 batteries per contract. So it's not it almost 30% of the time we're selling 2 or more batteries to customers based on the size of the home, what they're trying to back up, how long they want to back it up for in the event of an outage.
Great. Thank you so much. Let's see. Richard Green had his hand up earlier. Richard, do you want to put your question in the chat, or would you like to unmute and ask your question?
I registered for this event through Eventbrite, and I did not get a Zoom link.
Yep, this is the Zoom link. I answered that in the chat. You're on the right Zoom link. Our squirrel.
Would you please make sure that when someone registers for the event that they get a link?
Thank you so much. Are squirrel guards advantageous?
They can be. We do offer them through our service division. I would say I typically don't offer them, at least in our area. We obviously have a lot of tree coverage and canopy in certain areas that could cause some critters to get up on the roof. These are already pretty low profile down to the roof, and our service division that has those 22,000 customers in the Carolinas that deal with service calls every single day. I could count on both hands how many calls they get about squirrels. And so it's a nice peace of mind. If you definitely have had squirrels as a problem in your attic or roof, I would consider it. But from my professional recommendation, we just don't run into it that much. But we do offer it when it's needed.
Yeah, and I can say that from other campaigns, it's pretty rare that people get Squirrel Guard installed, and it's only if they have a known problem or a problem arises. It's pretty rare. Are there any problems with mold? I'm assuming you're meaning on the panels or under the panels.
Yeah, I'd say no.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
And then your question, Spency, about how much rebate from each tier. That really depends on your contracted cost. So it'll be calculated based on the tier price that you pay per watt and then your system size and contract amount. So that would be on a case-by-case basis, that would be calculated.
I know Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers signed up with us earlier this month. Yeah, Mr. Rogers, Aaron or I could give you that number based on what we contracted you for, but it's then gonna be where we end up at the end of the campaign, the difference of those two. But Aaron or I can help you with that, sir.
Awesome. And have you ever done townhouses? How do you work with HOAs?
We have done townhouses before. A unique situation. Who owns the roof is the big question as it relates to townhomes or condos or things like that, because they're usually shared surfaces when they are the same physical structure but different roof alignment, outlays. It makes it a little easier, but we have dealt with townhomes, condos, shared roof scenarios in certain circumstances. It's going to come down to who owns the roof, who manages the roof. If it's owned by the person who owns the unit, it's typically okay. If not, it typically doesn't work.
Great, thank you.
Sophie, I think Mark has his hand up.
Okay, yes, I was going to go through the chat, but yes, Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a question about the tax credit part. Like, I know this was supposed to last to like sometime in like 2030s, and they're like cutting it way short. So, based on the tax credit, did they change the bill to you can only get that tax credit in the next year and that's it? Or is it able to roll over year after year until it's exhausted?
So, Mark, are you asking if you get the tax credit in 25, do you have to claim it in 1 year, or do you have the ability to claim it over
Right.
multiple
I've
years?
done this before, like
Okay.
10 years ago when the state was offering it, and the tax credit you get like $10,000, but I don't have that much liability, so I get to carry over $3,000 to the next year and 3,000. Did they get rid of that? Is it a one-time shot, or are they still able to roll it over until you get your full tax credit?
Great question. The IRS form has not changed, 5695. There is a carryover timeline for 5 years that you can claim the tax credit if in your scenario, if you could not claim it at all within the first year of filing. So that part of it has not changed. Just the fulfillment to acquire the tax credit timeline has changed from 2032 to December 31st of this year.
Okay, great. And also one follow-up real quick, like that August 8th date, what is the significance? That is just for you guys to guarantee that you get it done by the end of the year?
Yeah, we're closely watching capacity on the daily. We've seen it's everywhere is heightened demand, including this campaign. And so the last thing we want to do is put the consumer who is really wanting the tax credit as part of the overall decision, to put them in a position that would be next year fulfillment. And so we're trying to be a little optimistic there and give everyone a heads up on how quickly that's coming.
All right, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And there's a question about the number of residences that can sign up for this campaign and the time limit, and all of that can be found on solarizecharmec.com. However, August 8th, as was just discussed, is the recommended time by which you should sign a contract if you are depending on getting that tax credit. But just going over our campaign information, our enrollment deadline is October 31st. Contract deadline is December 31st. However, if you are trying to get a tax credit, you want to expedite this as much as possible and make every effort to sign a contract by August 8th.
Yeah, we'll keep the team and the campaign updated if we happen to find a little more opportunity in that. But August 8th is where it's at right now for that. Thanks, Sophie.
Those are all the questions that I'm seeing in the chat.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all so much for being here this evening, for bringing your questions, and for your interest. As you've heard, there's really no better time to go solar than now. So if you're considering it, then please do make sure that you have enrolled in the program. That's at the website solarizecharmec.com. I also put our email our campaign email address in the chat, which is, you can email us directly at admin@solarizecharlotte.com, and that would be for any questions that you have, or if you have any ideas for events that we can attend or host to connect with community members. But going online and clicking on sign up is going to put you in contact directly with Renew Energy Solutions, so that you can get a free no obligation solar assessment, and then consider your contract and your proposal. So thank you so much for coming, and please look for an email from us after the event with the recording of this, and we look forward to connecting again soon.